Hey guys, Operator Drewski here, and today we're going to be going over a AutoRifleman loadout. Now, this isn't going to be a machine gunner, therefore we aren't going to be picking one of the big, fat, heavy, medium machine guns down here, the SPMG or the NV 9.3. Those are very OP guns, but this is supposed to be for an AutoRifleman, not a machine gunner. This is a more balanced AutoRifleman, more of a mil-sim type server. You're going to be going on and playing as an AutoRifleman loadout. What should you need, and what should you, optionally get? So, as an AutoRifleman, you can choose from two different AutoRifleman types of LMGs. There's the OPT4 Zephyr, and then there's the Blue 4, where is it? The MK200. Both very, very good systems. The MK200 does shoot 6.5mm, while the Zephyr does shoot 7.62. And so we're going to do a quick recoil test right here and just show you the ammo differences of both. I don't have ammo for this. Let me go get some ammo. I guess I have to have a vest, don't I? Yeah. So let me reload this now. This is the Zephyr, and so this is the 7.62. So this is going to get a little bit more recoil than the 6.5. But let's just do a, let's see, 5-second burst starting 3, 2, 1. So that was a 5-second burst, and as you can see, we went all the way up there. That's a really, really big recoil. And if you were to try to control that, you probably could be able to after a few shots, but it's going to be pretty hard. Now let's go to the 6.5 MK200, wherever it is. It's always hidden within the MK2s and MKXs, and it's hard to find, man. Okay, so here we go. Here's the MK200 now. I don't know where I actually started aiming. I think I just started aiming like around here, so I'm just going to do that. Just go perfectly on the horizon. So as you can see, that was a lot less recoil. About the same rate of fire, but it's not going to be packing as much punch as the Zephyr. So you can try them out by yourself. I do prefer the Zephyr just because it does have that 7.62 punch on it. And so you're able to take down people a little bit faster, but both guns are amazing. It's a 6.5mm. It's going to take somebody down around the same amount of time. So it just depends on what type of weight to, power ratio you kind of want to have. Because the Zephyr does weigh a lot more, as you can see in these stats. It does weigh almost about 1/4 more, actually. That's a bit more. So for this loadout, I'm going to have the Zephyr, but just know it's optional that you can choose between the MK200 6.5mm and the Zephyr. For a scope, I like to go with the MRCO. Anything that's really, really too heavily magnified, like if you were to put like an RCO, or just any ACOG type sights, it's a little bit too much for my taste. I personally like to be able to control the recoil, and with something like an AutoRifleman loadout, you don't need to be crazy accurate, and you're not going to be just shooting semi-auto shots, down range from a very, very far distance. If you're an AutoRifleman, you need to be doing your job, which your job is to suppress in any firefight. You're not going to be a person who's just sitting there, bam, bam, just popping off semi-fire. You're going to be doing bursts, big bursts, not big bursts, but like, 4 to 5 round bursts every burst, and you're just going to be trying to suppress the enemy. And so doing big bursts like that, it's going to be hard to aim without having to use a lower magnified sight or just a normal sight. Honestly, whenever I'm using an LMG, I like to just use red dots, not the SMG variants because they can only go to 100 yards with their zeroing, but I like to use red dots, iron sights, or even the lowest amount of zoom on a scope, which is the MRCO. So we're going to make this like the standard AutoRifleman, so I'm just going to pick a ACO green. That's fine with me, and honestly, it's a good sight. Now, with something like this, you don't really need a laser pointer unless you're going out in nighttime, so I'm just going to leave the laser pointer off for now. Bipods is on there always, so don't really need to care about the bipod. Now, we go down to the subject where we have handguns. So, in real life, why do we use handguns? Well, we use them in case our primaries fail, or unless we run out of ammo in our primaries. Well, with this type of loadout, guns don't jam. In vanilla ArmA, which is what I'm making this video for, guns do not jam ever. Therefore, there's no reason to carry a pistol. And the only reason you can carry a pistol is because you run slightly faster in ArmA with a pistol in your hand. I mean like 1 kilometer an hour faster than if you have an LMG in your hand. And your fatigue goes down a tiny bit slower when you're running with a pistol. That's the only difference. And honestly, in the middle of a realistic milsim operation, I've never unholstered my pistol and ran with it to gain speed in real life. So I'm just saying, Even in ArmA, you're not going to just see people, like an entire squad of people just run around with pistols. No, that's not going to happen. And honestly, would you rather go into a house and clear a room with a pistol or with a gigantic LMG? I would definitely want that gigantic LMG because I could just spray somebody with 7.62 and, you know, not even be semi-automatic. Just spray them rather than a pistol that's going to be shooting 9mm Parabellum or 45 cal. So I would rather just have you not carry a pistol. It's not really needed for the loadout, and honestly, it's just more weight, which weight is something that we're trying to conserve with this loadout while trying to actually maintain a little bit more of a heavy weight with this loadout. Simply because we are the AutoRifleman. We are going to be kind of on overwatch of a squad, but we are still with the squad. We aren't a machine gunner that's sitting up on a hill, you know, bored to death all day just waiting for something to shoot. We're going to be an AutoRifleman. So we can't be super heavy like a machine gunner. We can't just sit up on a hill and not care about our stamina because we're super over encumbered. With this, we do have to maintain a near rifleman type of weight, but we are going to be a little bit more over on the heavy side simply because we have a ton of ammo on us. Now, for this, I'm going to do it in a NATO loadout, so I'm going to use the combat fatigues. The t-shirt variant of the combat fatigues does weigh a little bit less, so if you're really trying to go on your stamina saving, then you can pick the t-shirt variant. It does have less fragmentation protection, which, as an auto-rifleman, you're going to be a little bit farther back in the squad if you're just going to be on Overwatch most of the time or something like that. So it really depends on how close you are to the front line of that squad. Really is what I'd say, depending on what type of shirt you should wear. Honestly, this isn't that big of a deal compared to our vests. Our vests, now, for this, I do choose the carrier light. I'm not going to choose the big, heavier carrier rig just because that does have a little bit more weight, and it does have the same exact load as the carrier light. I do like the carrier light for this loadout just because it kind of counteracts the heavy weight of our loadout and not, injuring our amount of load that we can carry. So in our vest, we're going to carry as much boxes of ammo we can. So 150 rounds times 3, that's 450 rounds already. That's a lot of rounds to be carrying on you. Now for a backpack, I'm just going to say carry the Assault Pack Green. This thing is honestly what I use in a lot of my loadouts. I probably have suggested this backpack for every single loadout. Unless it's like a really necessary thing that you just need to carry a lot of stuff. You can go for a carry-all or a kit bag, but honestly, it's just I said very and really at the same time. It's a really heavy backpack, and honestly, I just don't suggest it. I would heavily recommend just one of the Assault Pack Greens or Assault Pack Blacks, depending on what camo you're wearing, just because these are always a reminder of, hey, if I'm full, you don't really need to carry anything more. An assault pack for any mission, you can carry, just with a standard vest and assault packs, you can carry all you need for a mission. You just need to be optimized in what you're carrying. And making sure that you keep a lightweight loadout like this makes you definitely around the same weight as a rifleman, as a standard, rifleman in your squad. So you know that you're going to be able to run as fast as your squad members, pretty much like 95% of the time. You're going to be able to run as fast and go as far as your regular squad member, and you're going to keep up with your squad. You're not going to be like, hey guys, I can't do anything. So yeah, the backpack really is a good help of making sure that you don't carry too much. Now, you can also choose tracers with these. I think you can't do that with the 6.5 as well. Let me see. Excuse me. Yeah, you can choose tracers with these. I think this is yellow while this is a green tracer. Let me check. Yeah, it's a green tracer. So I personally like tracers. I don't know about you, but with something like this, suppressing somebody is a lot more scary to do if you're at nighttime and you're just seeing green lasers going by you. I'm sorry, but I get more suppressed if I see lasers going by me. Yes, it does give away your position, but if you're working with a group of like different squads or something, then it might be actually helpful because if you're spraying at something, everybody can see exactly where your tracers are going, and they know where you're shooting. You don't need to say, oh, I'm shooting exactly at that tree that you can barely see over there. No, you just shoot at it, and even in the darkest, hour of night, you can still see where the bullet hits. So it is useful to have tracers. I like tracers personally. Doesn't really matter what you like, but but tracers, in my opinion, are what you're going to want. Now, with this, we can hold, let me see, we can hold about 5 with maintaining a good weight. We can hold about 5 boxes of 150 rounds of ammo, and that is a ton of ammo. That's going to last you a good mission. You can also get up to 4 in this, but we're going to pack some grenades and some more other equipment in here just to make sure that we're filled with more, useful stuff than just tons of bullets. For this, RGN grenades, I'm going to suggest, just because they're lightweight, you can fill as many as you want. I personally bring about 4 RGN grenades with this because we are going to be a little bit farther back Therefore, if we're throwing a grenade, we're going to be Overwatch most of the time if we're an AutoRifleman. So if we're throwing a grenade, then it is really useful to have one that you can throw far, and also it's going to be lightweight compared to the RGO grenades, which if we pack on 4 more RGO grenades, it's going to be a lot of weight compared to just 4 RGNs. It's going to be a lot more weight. These are almost like 1.5 to 2 times as heavy as the regular RGNs. So RGNs are a good one. Chem lights, all this stuff is optional. Get some first aid kits in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. So that's a pretty good amount, and that makes your backpack almost full, and just full enough where you might be able to pack 1 or 2 more items in there, but you're not going to be super over encumbered with this. Now, with headgear, this is another optional thing. Are you going to be sitting on Overwatch over a town, or are you going to be with your squad? Helmets pretty much don't protect you against bullets, anything like that, unless it's like a very, very far range and it's like a pistol. So, honestly, the main thing they're good at is protecting you from fragmentation or just shockwaves from grenades and ArmA. And so if you're close to your squad, if you're going to be on the ground, if you're going to be clearing buildings, go with an enhanced combat helmet or just a standard combat helmet. Honestly, if I was going into a town, I just want the combat helmet. It does have a good balance between weight and armor. Enhanced combat helmets are the maximum armor for a NATO helmet with a little bit more weight, but you could get just the combat helmet too if you wanted to cut off some more stamina, heavy breathing, intensifies, you know what I mean? So if you're on Overwatch, though, you don't really need a helmet because that's just going to... All helmets are for is protecting from fragmentation. And in real life, they're primarily for protecting from fragmentation, but also just big hits to the head. Like if you hit your head against a wall or something from an explosion. That's what the helmets is primarily for. But in ArmA, if we're far away and there's not any chances of fragmentation coming towards us, then wear a hat. Just wear something that's lightweight and that still kind of covers the, the silhouette of the head, just makes your pale part of your face not as visible. As well as wearing a mask that makes our face a little bit more, hard to see. If somebody's looking at you through a sniper scope and they're trying to find where you are, and you're looking through a window, they might... wearing a mask like this might be the, one limiting reactant of if they see you or if they don't. Now, I'm saying might because it's honestly, they're going to see you if your big silhouette is in a window and you're being dumb, sticking your gun out the window. But I'm just saying it might help you at some points in time. Never use the tan or right here they say brown for some reason. Never use the brown goggles. I don't know why a lot of people like these goggles, but they're the super brightest things ever. And if you're like poking your head out of something, it's one of the most iconic things ever just to see these 2 big white things at the top of somebody's head. So honestly, I prefer the green or black just because they're darker and they're harder to see. You always want to have the darkest part of your camouflage on the top of your body and then the lightest on the bottom. So it just to kind of make it dynamic and unrealistic lighting, therefore you don't look like a actual silhouette. So something like this, you always want to have something darker on the top, so green or black is good. Binoculars, it depends on if you're going into towns or not. This is honestly optional, and the rest is pretty much optional as well. Make sure to pack a GPS with you, not a UAV terminal. I clicked on a UAV terminal, and that is pretty much it. That is waiting. That is pretty much my AutoRifleman loadout, guys. If you like, you can change up this loadout any way you like as well. But honestly, AutoRiflemen are going to be pretty close to normal riflemen. A lot of people think that you're going to have a medium machine gun, and you're going to carry a carry-all pack. But honestly, the most effective way to run an AutoRifleman loadout in ArmA is just trying to be as close as you can to the standard rifleman. Not using Night Stalkers or anything like that because it's a milsim server, but also just maintaining stamina, maintaining your lightweight, because you are going to be carrying a little bit more ammo than everybody else, and you are going to be carrying a little bit more, just weight overall. So guys, if you like this video, please leave a like down below. Comment if I did anything like stupid or if I talk weird, because I'm stuttering every time I try to make a video. But so if you like these videos, you can go check out a lot more guides and a random ArmA stuff that's probably not even exciting to watch, but it is for me to make. So so guys, you can go check that out, and I'll see you next time.
Just do it!
Oh gosh! Oh my god! Like, and this is how you knife people right here. You just kind of like dance around with it.